History doesn't whisper its warnings. It shouts them again and again. Every fallen civilization had prophets, scholars, generals, philosophers, even enemies who tried to warn them. And almost every one of them laughed. They mocked the signs. They silenced the messengers. They trusted their walls, their wealth, their armies, their gods, their technology. And then, they vanished. Not overnight but inevitably. What makes this terrifying isn't that these civilizations were weak. It's that they believed collapse was impossible. As you watch this, ask yourself one uncomfortable question. If history repeated itself today, would we recognize the warning or mock it too? If you value deep history with real lessons, subscribe now because this channel doesn't entertain lies. It uncovers truths civilization learned too late. Warning 10. The Sumerians. When gods were replaced by pride, the Sumerians built the world's first civilization. The first cities. The first laws. The first writing. They believed they had mastered order itself. But their priests warned them. The gods demanded humility, balance, restraint. Flood myths weren't stories, they were warnings. Yet Sumerian kings began declaring themselves semi-divine. Temples turned into power centers. Cities competed instead of cooperating. Rivers were overused. Soil salinated. Agriculture failed. The warnings were mocked as superstition. Nature answered with silence. Then collapse. Present parallel. Today, we call ancient warnings myths, while ignoring environmental limits. Future question. When resources fail again, will we blame fate or ourselves? Warning 09. Indus Valley silence after ignored signs. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were cleaner than modern cities. Advanced drainage, planned streets, social order. But climate patterns shifted. Monsoons weakened. Scholars believe leaders were warned, but adaptation required change. They chose tradition over survival. Cities emptied quietly. No war, no fire, just abandonment. Civilizations don't always scream when they die. Sometimes they fade. Present parallel. Climate warnings today are dismissed as exaggeration. Future question. Will future historians say we chose comfort over change? Warning 08. Ancient Egypt. When gods became decorations. Egypt lasted thousands of years until warnings were ignored. Priests warned pharaohs. Ma'at cosmic balance was broken. Corruption spread. Religion became ritual without morality. Foreign powers noticed weakness before Egyptians did. By the time Rome arrived, Egypt was already hollow. Empires don't fall when invaded. They fall before invasion. Present parallel. When values become symbols instead of practices. Future question. Is power hollow when belief is performative? Warning 07. The Maya astronomers who ignored their own data. The Maya predicted eclipses with terrifying accuracy. They saw drought cycles coming. Their own data warned them. But kings demanded monuments, not reform. Sacrifices increased instead of solutions. Cities collapsed one by one. Knowledge means nothing when pride blocks action. Present parallel. We have more data than ever yet act less. Future question. What warning graphs will future ruins hide? Warning 06. Pompeii laughing at the mountain. People mocked earthquakes. Mount Vesuvius had been silent too long. Warnings were jokes. Then the sky turned black. Sometimes warnings are short, sometimes they're ignored once. Present parallel. Small disasters dismissed until the big one arrives. Future question. What volcano are we living beside today? Warning 05. Carthage wealth without unity. Carthage was rich beyond imagination, but divided. Warnings came from generals. Rome would never stop. Politicians mocked military urgency. Rome didn't warn twice. Present. Parallel. Economic power mistaken for invincibility. Future question. Can wealth replace unity? Warning 04. The Aztecs' signs in the sky. Comets. Earthquakes. Strange births. Priests warned Montezuma. He hesitated. When Cortez arrived, fear replaced action. Sometimes belief paralyzes instead of prepares. Present parallel. Waiting for signs instead of preparing responses. Future question. Does fear delay survival? Warning 03. Rome laughing at decline. Rome mocked its own decay. Philosophers warned of moral collapse. Generals warned of weak borders. Entertainment distracted the masses. The empire didn't fall, it rotted. Present parallel. Distraction is decay. Future question. Are we entertained while collapsing? Warning 02. Angkor nature always collects its debt. Water systems failed. Monsoons shifted. Engineers warned. Kings ignored. Jungle reclaimed stone. Present parallel. Infrastructure aging while warnings grow. Future question. Will nature repossess our cities? Warning 01. Easter Island the final tree. Elders warned. Don't cut the last tree. They did. No boats. No escape. No future. Collapse isn't always external. Sometimes it's a choice. Present parallel. Consuming without replacement. Final question. What is our last tree? If even one of these warnings felt familiar, history is already speaking to you. This channel exists so we don't become. Like the video if history matters. Subscribe if you believe collapse isn't inevitable, ignorance is. And comment below. Which warning do you think the modern world is mocking right now?